So, guys, the more I start thinking about like Ghostbusters was fun, right? It was, it was a fun movie, but the more I start thinking about it, really, like, because what we do is we don't just let it go as problem. Like a movie and you know, kind of like video rental. It's like, okay, where's the next movie and stuff, and it's a hard. Sometimes it's difficult to just kind of go in there and do our thing without theory crafting and canonizing everything. And it's not like I said, to me, Frozen Empire wasn't a it wasn't like canon breaking. It wasn't this thing where I just destroyed my it just I started thinking about certain timing and editing and some plot continuity and I'm going, wait a second, this doesn't like to me. Some of these characters were almost took a back seat from Afterlife, which sometimes they do, but the characters that they brought in the forefront, Phoebe and Spangler, it was like weird to me, right? Did you guys feel the same way? Like those two stories were like the most least important or heartfelt or whatever, but in the other ones I wanted more of. Like,
well, first of all, before we get going, I don't want everybody to think this is a hate fest at all.
No.
Because just first off the bat, it's going to start out that way as soon as we start going, because I know what we're all going to say, because I feel it too. When that movie started, I was smiling. When that movie ended, I was smiling. I smiled,
and that's
the
important.
Entire way through. When we left, I thought how happy I was, and when I leave a theater, that's it. So to that point, to this whole point, I wish we would leave it alone.
Thank you for that disclaimer.
I always want. I kind of when you were saying that a minute ago, kind of want to go back and watch some classics with you guys and come back and let's do a homework, like a book report.
Oh, that's fun.
And let's be critical of something. Police Academy. Let's just take Police Academy or something silly.
I got it right. I'm ready to go. Police Academy. Let's go.
And let's tear it up. No, you know, I really don't think Police Academy. I don't think I could. Kind of good.
Are we going to meet at the Blue Oyster and go over our notes? Or okay.
But anyway, so smiled the whole time. Did enjoy it. When we left there, I'm thinking solid 7, maybe. Right?
Oh wow. Okay.
When we left there, and that's pretty good for me. I mean, you're talking about it's a Ghostbusters, so it can't be Ghostbusters.
Right. Nothing will ever be that again.
Never.
And that's not and I went in there not expecting that. I really did go into Frozen Empire not expecting a Ghostbusters, just this amazing like movie that was made by accident and made this, you know, huge cult following, right? I did go into this movie Frozen Empire of like, all right, Afterlife kind of set the stage and we got us back into our swing of things. We had some great tributes, and it was such a great heartfelt movie. And now we can get into like ghost busting, right? We can get into like Ghostbusters and expanding the universe on Frozen Empire. And that's, you know, basically what the movie did, because we got Ernie Hutt, you know, Zedmore doing the money thing behind it and all these in these labs and whatnot. I loved the fact that they used Slimer in that way and not a goofy way. It was like Slimer was in the background, just something that's in the house. Because that's reminiscent of the cartoon. And that was absolutely perfect for me.
Yeah, I loved it.
So
I like the fact that they also used an actual physical puppet for him, too, just like the old days. They didn't screw around with CGI. Yeah. It was an enhanced puppet, and it looked great.
Yeah,
Ernie.
But like, Ernie,
what was your take coming out?
So here's mine. I loved it, and I looked at it like a whole different way. The thing is, as we start getting into our line talk and trying to think of this and that, it's hard to do that anymore. Because nobody can make a good movie anymore. Everybody wants to reboot this and do this, right? So I'm trying to look at it the best way possible. So how I've been explaining it to everybody was, we've had our classic Ghostbusters. 1 and 2 were great and everything. And then the one that we just had, that last one, was a way to bring people back in. I still cry when I see it.
Got some closure,
you know, having him there, and you get introduced to the new family and everything. And I felt this one was the passing of the torch. So we still have our old characters, and they were giving us answers to set up for another movie, is what I feel. How you said of where the finance comes from,
right?
The firehouse, the new people, the technology, the everything, and now the family is taking over as Ghostbusters with some people behind the scenes, so that when that next Ghostbusters movie comes out, I don't need to see Ray or Peter or Zed more and like that. It's not going to be important to me because I feel like that. And he even said it. We're getting too old for this, Ray. So I took that into it because we feel that, right? Sometimes we're getting too old for what we do every day and bitching and complaining about this and that. So when he said that, I can see that as a next movie coming out. If they just show up or pop up for a second, but I don't need them there busting with them, correct? Yeah. So that's how I feel, is like it's a passing to something new. And I think the next movie I'd be more critical of that passing. Here, to me,
see how that standalone, separate Ghostbusters movie can be.
I've seen a 4-movie saga here of what took place and what happened.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Our guys are older and they did this, and now they're on to it. Ray would still love to do it, but he can't. The motorcycle to me was awesome. I don't remember anything like that, so that was cool. I would have liked to see like something more on that. It's a very hard when you shoot with children, because I loved podcasting the other one, and now that he's grown, he looked like a different character to me.
He did. He looked like a completely different actor.
It did. So that was hard, but it was still the same kid and still the same nerdy, but they made him way nerdy in the other one, and he was so much smaller. I love that character, and now you saw him grow, and it was like,
saw him grow. That's like they didn't utilize him is
correct as much as they did the last one. But again, a passing of the torch.
Which I don't need a repeat,
kind of
right?
See it all.
You don't need
correct.
He was good. He was good for when he was there.
So that's how I took it. It was just a passing.
I don't have any problem with any of that, Ernie. I agree with all that. There's some things we'll get into. Scott might get into right now. There's some things about it that were just wrong. I think the idea of the passing the torch. I think all the things you said, man. I 100% agree.
Absolutely. For me, like Chris and like Ernie, I walked out smiling. I enjoyed it. I did have fun with it, but as I'm sitting there and I'm watching the movie unfold, there are scenes in it that happen. You know, there's a scene where Phoebe, and here I am nitpicking it, but that's what we do, right? Phoebe is cutting apart the fire pole, right? And
which is a character in itself,
right? Right. But she's cutting it apart. She's melting it.
Still work?
She's you should try this. This is great. She's melting it. She's using a huge chunk of this sliding pole from the firehouse, and then in the final act, they use the fire pole, and it's either they took it from a. Had they taken it from the top, it wouldn't be steady for him to use the pole as the gag. If they would have cut it from the bottom, it would have been fun to see him fall from the bottom of the pole and then hop back up again.
And we would have seen it if it was on the bottom.
We would have seen it if it was on the bottom.
Our question was, is there two poles? Did we miss something?
2 poles. So
I was just going to say that. I thought there was 2 poles.
I only remember one.
Everything I've seen is 1.
And I want to know if there's a shot. You're
already throwing me a curveball, dude.
They hire continuity people. They hire people that specifically watch after the continuity of movies. So I hope there's a second fire pole in there, because otherwise,
I want to see if there's a shot of that pole gone, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes later it's there. You know what I mean? Like they used it for that plot point. As the monster's 100 feet away, 100 yards away. They did all that, but I mean, hey, movie magic.
All that being said, too, I find that the relationship between a 15-year-old girl and a who knows how old's a ghost.
It was a 16-year-old ghost, yeah.
It was a 16-year-old ghost from 30 years ago. So you've got a 16.
Are you really 16 then, right? If you just
2 poles,
2, right?
There are 2 poles,
right?
2 poles,
yeah,
very clearly, right next to each other. 3 poles,
3 poles.
I thought there was 2, and then I could have sworn that
there's one right next to Ecto 1, and then there's 2 within 4 feet of each other on the right of Ecto 1.
Really? Okay. See,
so what I thought was the 2 from upstairs to go down, and then I thought that other one went to the basement part.
I don't think there's one that goes to the basement.
I'm going to put it in our chat.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, do that. Then there you go. They cut one down. But the camera panned on the. All
right, you know what? That fixed it. I think that movie was a 10.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
All right. Hey, Ernie, help me. Where did Ernie go?
I don't know.
Oh shit! Is he taking a? All right. Well, I want his opinion when I come back. I want to talk about Paul Rudd
But I did think though that the implied relationship between the two was like, it was. I don't mind it. I don't mind a female relationship, but what I mind is an age gap thing here. You've got a 15-year-old girl and a I know it's a 16-year-old ghost, but it's a 16-year-old ghost from 30 years ago.
I was because thinking about again, can't help it. We're thinking about it. I thought it was more because of what Phoebe went and what she did in this whole thing. I felt it was more of a fascination than a romantic implication. Meaning, like, there's a ghost and I want to be one of you. I don't think there was any kind of romantic thing. I mean, it was like staring each other's eyes, but I get it. Here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna be that guy in this 4 of us that went in smiling and did not come out smiling, but I did not hate it. Okay, I didn't hate it. That's the thing. I walked out going like, I got in my car as we all left, and I was like, all right, that's the hey, whatever. And I went home, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to enjoy it, and I didn't hype myself up on it. And it wasn't the fact that it was not a visually good movie, and like I said, passing the torch. I get all that. I think it was kind of dull in a way where some of the characters weren't utilized in the way that meant something. Like I said, the family was there, but did it seem like a family to you? Did it really seem Paul Rudd had any kind of authority in this whole thing? Even the mom, they had their little spat. I'm going to be assertive, and then it took a back seat, and then we focused it on Phoebe's character. I forgot Mike's Mike. I forgot his name in the
completely useless.
Where was he in the film? Like he was just there and then kind of like in the background and they showed. But, I mean, it wasn't.
Mention Paul Rudd, the parents, dude. I've talked.
Yeah.
Did they not dumb Paul Rudd down like by double?
Big time.
He's a science teacher.
He's really goofy this one, like way overly. And I seem like, man, I don't know, man.
I think it's because of what's his name as the comic relief. They couldn't have
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, or they could. Yeah. They put Paul Rudd as this stepdad authority. I think they were trying to make him more. I don't know.
No, I think they made him actually goofier. I just when I got a really like he was dumb vibe. Like he wasn't all intelligent, and that wasn't what I took from the first one. I didn't leave thinking that, and I just
he was performing experiments with the kids. He was hooking up, the ghost trap to the school bus. They were doing all sorts of really cool experimental things. And in this one, he just, I agree. They were letting the kids, well, not even the kids, the kid.
It was just, it was like this setup and then Phoebe. And all of a sudden, I want to be you. And I had this way, I'm going to die or become a ghost. And they used that plot point as a way to bring the ghost in. And it felt like this writing of like, it's not even a creative way of bringing the enemy into or the bad guy into the fold. It was this thing that was like A, B, C, D. And this just happened. It just all happened to lay in line perfectly. And I think that's, again, these are the type of movies that I don't do like with Star Wars, where it's like, hey, all these things. It was just kind of like, it's and like what Ernie said, it was like typical of today's movies. They don't make good movies today. And and I didn't think Ghostbusters was exceptional in that way, where I thought Afterlife had its moments where I was like, this is really a very cool sequel, a true sequel. And like I said, closure. And it had that beginnings of the passing of the torch. I felt like Frozen Empire should have been a little bit further along than I was presented. I mean, I might read into it a little bit more. Like I said, my grade went down every time I started thinking about it, but it's not something where I throw it away. And it's not something that I will refuse to watch. I'll watch it when it comes on video on demand. I'll watch it with you guys if we have a marathon. It's part of it. There are great moments in it and funny moments that I was like, that's funny. Bill Murray stole the show. You know what I mean? Like there were some very cool things, and I felt it. I felt like, that's Ghostbusters. That's cool. So I'm not all negative about it.
Right. Did you guys feel though that the first hour just kind of drug? It just
there
was a pacing issue in the first hour. Yeah,
I felt myself forcing to laugh, like forcing myself as the joke came in. I felt myself forcing it like a little bit,
Again, very hard to recreate the movies that we know,
and that's fine. And I didn't expect that. And I think that's the difference, right? I didn't.
No, and I'm saying, it's unfortunately that's the way it is now. Is the first? Okay, let's get to the point, or let's get that good comedic.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Chris. Didn't try to be funny. It was just funny. It was just the guys had the chemistry. I think that's maybe that's what it is. The chemistry was there with the.
It didn't feel scripted.
That's what we get.
Didn't feel scripted.
And that's what we. Well, we get more hands jumped into it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was popular. We're doing the second one. Let's do this. Let's do that. And that's where we're losing.
I want more too. I don't want to end. I want this a franchise thing. And
that's the problem. I think actually now that they have a franchise, you can't go step by step. They have a plan, and it has
correct.
To. Yeah, that's it.
And that's why I took this movie as just a closing to everybody. Our next one will be just them, and
that's how I'll take it
with the ghost core.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And that's how I'll take it, Ernie. I will take it as I will watch Frozen Empire as this. Like I said, this is the last movie with the original cast, and now it's this new thing. And now it's like we have Ghostbusters stationed all around the world. And it kind of goes in line of what Dan Aykroyd's and Harold Ramis's original vision of what the Ghostbusters movie was. And then their original plot was like having alien invaders coming in and this whole ghost world. It was like wild kaiju thing going on, you know what I mean? So it was bigger than what it actually was budgeted for in the original film. So.
And I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, right. So there's always like
marshmallow kaiju.
Yeah,
they had it right.
No aliens.
They had the Statue of Liberty as as their kaiju in part 2.
I really liked the villain though, Garaka. I really liked the look of it. I thought that was really cool. I liked the power that it had. I liked the.
I like when they go back to like that ancient Sumerian that goes, no.
And that would be cool to continue with as rolling with more story.
Yeah. Like there's more beyond more there.
Ancient, so correct, cool. Of why these things happen. Yeah. Why is there ghosts? Because that's this was saying to him and
Hey Ernie, you were away for a second. We had a question.
Sorry.
We were discussing it on the relationship between Phoebe and the ghost. How did you take Phoebe's feelings towards the ghost?
Yeah, I took it as intimate as well too.
Okay,
and it was, and it didn't need to be there. And I'm not saying it for that reason.
We get it. It's 15,
but it was just a little bit forced. It's young. Why? And it had nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
So that's right. That's what mine was, because you could have had any character make the call to be able to.
You could have any character open up,
not the story. Correct. Right. And instead, and again, this is where I feel too many hands into a project. That first one was good, funny, the way everybody was structured, everything. Now you have the too many in this project, and where are we going to throw in their relationship? What?
Yeah.
Why? And she barely just started talking to her. We know that she's awkward,
and she
we know that
she's
not
she
socially able.
Basically,
correct.
You stay home because you're young and 50. Now it's this rebellious thing, and how dare it's that same boring thing about the teenager not wanting to listen and being put in the back burner. And
also that ghost I didn't like because it was done different than any other ghost we've seen. It was too prominent, not see-through, not floating around. It was really there as a character. Like, I get she's supposed to be on fire and like that,
right?
But you still could have made her more see-through. Did you notice that on some of the scenes?
Should have done this whole librarian thing, right? Like
I did,
yes.
Yeah, so she was also. I'm trying to think of other times we've seen human ghosts, and the librarian is the only one I can really think of, because every other one
into
the
monster. I wish
she has been a monster.
I wish she would, like, when she revealed herself as being burnt. She revealed herself as this burnt corpse, and then came back as like Melody. I think her name was, and that would have been kind of like that switch where it is a hideous ghost. But she turned it into this thing because she's talking if you don't want to scare her away. But
see, and the problem is now is, like we said, we're older and we take movies in that sense. Well, we're looking for plot. We're not saying that
we are looking for plot. Yeah,
falling in love or like that or any of that type of issue. It was just that
it's not relatable for us, right?
Right. It was forced in there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden she wants to, be this rebellious from her family.
She was told no.
And she met a ghost. Right. And see, on our other end, everybody's going to be like this 15-year-old. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I only want to work 4 hours a day, and you shouldn't tell me.
Yeah, right.
I have that right to fall in love with a ghost. So,
yeah, right. But also, like, she was used as for the catalyst to open up the orb before they even had the orb in the possession to do it, and it was like this.
Plot that see? Correct. That's what I'm saying. It didn't fit. If it were to fit and be explained correct.
Yeah.
Like, she needed to do that. Okay.
It's like the minute they took the orb out of the brass room that was keeping it quiet, did the voices start speaking to Melody, and I mean, it was like instantaneous, right?
It was almost like
there was a plot that
that was her plan.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. It seemed like this was in play for a while.
And her being stuck and not being able to go, and then all of a sudden she was gone.
Yeah.
That was your other problem too.
The minute I saw that match too, I'm like, oh, that's going to come into play eventually.
You did,
of course.
See, and that's what I'm saying. The too much of storytelling from somebody else was really forced. So that was there. You also said, Chris, that there was a question about Paul Rudd. What was that?
Oh man, did you feel they dumped him down? Like his acting, like the character seemed like half as smart as he was last one.
So when you were saying about that after, I thought you were going to ask a question because this is how I took it. We saw him again beforehand, right? The introduction of him. And then he meets the mom and everything. Like, that was a hilarious part, right? Yeah. Where he was like, dude, I think he wants to bone your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? I mean, and then you had we had a hell of a first date.
Yeah,
and
we turned into
time there. And I'm sorry, being put in this position, it is very awkward and difficult to be a stepdad. It is. So how you were saying where they were telling her no and, I'm going to be stern with her. I say that all the damn time too, but you can't. It's not your kid.
Oh, no, that's not what that's not what I mean. I get that part. Oh, that part was cool.
What
I mean is his actual intelligence. Like, I feel like he acted like goofy.
Of that.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I think he was acting like goofy. I'm like, is this guy serious? This is
again the only way that I can take that is the new relationship, a new sequencing of you don't know how to act with a new family. You're still trying to fit yourself in. You can be okay
but even
with
when they're
her.
not near them. I'm saying just in general, he seemed like he was acting like he was slow.
I felt it was always like that.
Maybe I didn't watch Afterlife enough or didn't catch it in Afterlife. I love Paul Rudd. I think he's great, man.
So do I. But I was taking it more of him trying to fit into a family type thing.
That fit in the movie as far as his struggle with that authority. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's where I took his acting that way.
All right.
Of the more. You're trying to see where you were you beforehand, right? Yeah. And now you're trying to see where you fit in this new you. I guess that's the easiest way for me to put it.
Yeah.
I felt something towards that because I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. He was so out there and doing all this, like you said, with the hooking up the battery. Don't you know who this is?
Yeah.
And now you can't because you're trying to structure yourself with the kids and.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was literally nothing. It was mannerisms in his speech. That's all I'm talking about. Literally, maybe you guys didn't see it. Like I'm gonna go back. And watch
I did
Afterlife.
Yeah, I think what more you take Paul Rudd out of it. You take the mother. You take the brother. You take Bill Murray. You take all these people out of it, right?
Nothing changes,
and nothing changed the movie because it was Dan Aykroyd and Phoebe and this ghost and nothing changed. Like nothing. They weren't in it enough for. They weren't memorable at all to me. I forget. Like I said, I kind of have to think about. Oh yeah, that did happen. Where was Mike this whole time? Yeah. Where was he? And why is that girlfriend in the lab of Ghostbusters? Like I don't understand.
That was another thing that I didn't like too of the Forest.
What qualifies her to be
in this day and age of cell phones and all that for kids? You had no idea that she was there or doing.
I forgot who she was until they mentioned her. I'm like, oh yeah, that's
because nobody would have kept. But that was a whole different town and a whole different everything.
It was.
And you, hi, oh my God, you're here?
Yeah,
crazy. Dude, all right, and you've been here.
Yeah, and you've been here, and you're. I don't know what was 17, 8. I don't know, man. It felt like I said, it almost felt like there's a 3-hour director's cut out there that it was a very good film.
That's true. Yeah.
And the way it was. Huh?
I want to answer to the mini Stay Puffs.
Yeah.
They gave us a quick one of how they were still around or whatever. But what is their thing with the whole wanting to hurt themselves? Like, I get that it's funny, but I still want an explanation.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy.
It worked in Afterlife, and
you continue it here.
Yeah, because it was
doing it.
It was a paranormal event and how they became about, but it's like they're menacing, and then everybody just forgets about them.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you, I did watch some reviews, and I didn't take this either. And this is again where I get into the I must be getting old. Because like how we're breaking it down and saying this and that. Again, yes, it was a good movie. I want to see another one. But a lot of people were taking that end credit scene and saying, "Oh, Stay Puft is coming back."
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, okay, how? What like what do you, they stole the truck?" Yeah, that's a what do you mean? Are they going to Voltron it? Are they just all going to get
right? Just kind of pile up on each other.
Oh
right, right. That's what I didn't get. So, but there was so many shows out there who were saying that.
Really?
Oh, Stay Puft's going to be in the next one. Yeah, and I'm like, it was just a funny end credit scene. They stole the truck.
Well,
That's
even in the
was I wrong in the
first film?
No, I thought it was just a silly.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was just that kind of scene served twofold. Okay, maybe there's another movie, but that's not the plot of it. And it was just a fun, where did they go after this whole event? And it's funny.
There was a reason for Stay Puft, right? I mean, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was there for a reason.
That was Ray's fault.
Reason no
that was
longer
Ray's fault.
That was Ray's fault.
What did you do, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah,
oh,
that's what I'm saying. So, there was some things. Was it a good movie? Yes.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, yes, as we break it down and we talk about this, there is points to it. But again, because of that. So, I don't know.
Chris clarified for us that, yes, indeed, there are at least
there's 3 right there.
Poles.
Yeah.
There's 3.
They are off the hook. I'm cool with it. I just think it's a little slow, and that's it. So
still,
what was that one? The Zamboni, right? Like it's so far the Austin Powers.
Oh yeah,
like you said, he's far away, and the ghost is right there. But let me build this real quick.
Yeah, the ghost. You gotta melt it. You gotta cut it, melt it down, make a cast, make it cool off. And the ghost is 100 yards. 100 yards is not that far.
Yeah.
They mentioned 100 yards in the film.
I'm sorry, you're just not sciencey enough, Darth Moocher. You're just
right. You don't know. But I know what 100 yards is, and it'll take me. But I'm barely cutting that thing down by the time the ghost is here.
You don't know how hot that blowtorch was, or how hot the stovetop was. Come on, man.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking
hot to melt brass. But yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking in this day and age, and I'm sorry, I feel like I've had to change my thinking a lot. Like I'm saying on the movie, right? Well, I felt it was this, and I'm setting up for another one. But in my head, I also set up for a TV show because I feel like somebody's going to do it, and I feel it's going to be like that center of the Red Jackets.
Oh,
because that caught my interest.
Yeah.
That one ghost looked scary to me, and I was like, dude, so what is that ghost? Because they never explained that one. Right. They talked about the one that can do objects, the one that
the mimic,
right, and then but that one was pretty evil looking and
creepy looking one was awesome.
Yeah, it was really dark, and I wanted to know. Oh, okay, so what the hell is that? If we're getting a big bad, like that one freaked me out. And
they're supposed to make it a whole universe like Star Wars is doing with books, comics.
Oh, really? See, so that's what I'm saying. TV, I can see a Paramount Plus Ghostbusters TV show of the people working in there.
Yeah,
not any ghost busting.
Ghost courts. Yeah, the ghost.
What are we, going in there and doing that? So,
and you had that thing that looked really super cool and wicked. Yeah, and the main the one that was causing all the problems was a little red glowy ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
see, that
kind of fits. It kind of fits the Ghostbusters, but still,
yeah.
Sorry,
I don't know. Maybe just a little bit more explanation.
Like I think when we were leaving the theater, I was like, okay, that was like a B, a B because it's Ghostbusters. I have like this biased towards the IP itself, right? And like you kind of make yourself want to like it and stuff, but when you start, we can't help. Okay,
we try to do that with Star Wars too. We do the same thing with Star Wars, but sometimes it doesn't fly.
I feel sometimes, again, this is just a movie enthusiast opinion. I'm not a creator. I'm not in the industry. But I feel like writers, and it's been going on for a long time, do not give the audience credit. They don't give us that we can be smart about watching a film. And I think they dummy down these scripts so much, or the story so much, that it has to be like, plug A into A, plug B into B. Here's your hand. Here's what's happening. I don't think a lot of filmmakers, and this is like Jason Reitman, dude. I mean, Ivan Reitman's a legend. and Jason Wright, and it's just like Lawrence Kasdan and his son, John Kasdan. Really? Okay. He can't write. He can't write. Okay, I'm sorry. Everything John Kasdan has written has been like, wow, you know. But Lawrence Kasdan's a legend. Ivan Reitman's a legend, you know. And these are the guys that I feel like they have to make these kindergarten movies as far as like the how an audience could put two and two together versus it doesn't have to be overly complicated either, but it has to be to where it's like, you know, like, okay, I'll compare it to like the original Ghostbusters. There was a lot of like this Samaritan talk and this, but they put it in this smart way that made a bigger world IP in that little prison scene when they were in jail, you know, and it had this Gozer worshippers, and the building was the conductor itself, and it had these things. So it put you in this world building thing that I feel like, and I went on this rant before with
that much better, you know, and all of that fed into Afterlife, you know, and
you know, so the whole that whole beginning, that intro of Afterlife was where the continuation of Spangler and what he was doing and how he drove everybody away because of a session. This is stuff that allows the audience to put those things together in their head. You know, and I feel like a lot of movies just are like cartoons. They're like kindergarten plots. What was complicated about Afterlife at all? Even that little backstory of who it was and the fire master. I was just like, wow, it was Avatar. You know, it became Avatar. Again, I'm a moviegoer. I've been a moviegoer since I can remember. You guys are probably sick of hearing it, but I don't know. I take a little bit more like that's my main source of entertainment, and I enjoy it, and I don't want to be like, as a kid I never came out of a movie hating it. I just like, that was awesome. It could have been the dumbest movie in the world to adults.
And that was kind of what this one was. Right? That was awesome. That's kind of walked out.
I didn't walk away that way. I really didn't, and I felt guilty because I didn't, I guess.
You should.
Like I put this at a D- movie. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I throw popcorn at you, sir.
But it's Ghostbusters, right? And I won't. But it didn't kill it for me. Like, it didn't kill the franchise. I won't say the franchise is dead, and I'm not interested in the next step of it. I'm not.
They need to sort out the rest of the family because Paul Rudd needs more time. They need to sort something out with the mom. I wasn't on Team Mom this go around.
No, nothing. Like, I didn't care about anybody.
No, and then
they underutilized Trevor.
Yeah,
Trevor. Thank you. Trevor is my
Trevor.
Finn. Why'd you say that earlier if you knew this name, or you just looked it up?
I looked it up. I ain't no
fool. Just let me call him Mike for that.
Well, I mean, we all knew who it was,
and I didn't realize that until it was pointed out.
Yeah. And I did like the Easter eggs and the callbacks. I love the dickhead comment in the back of the crowd.
Oh my God! Answer the question, dickhead. Or
I thought there were some very clever choices, but it wasn't like Ghostbusters was always clever choices. It was always something clever. You know, that's right. This man has no, you know, everything. Even Ghostbusters 2 is hilarious and smart. You know, I mean, it was written in the way that the audience was trusted to get what they were doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, guys, I minority, whatever.
I mean, it's I mean, I get it. You have
that's the way I saw it.
Little more, of course. You probably have a little more. No, I can't say you have a little more love for it. I love Ghostbusters. So, but I understand what you mean about the critical part of it. But now I just, again, I went with feeling on this one.
Did you guys feel like there was anything left out?
Trevor, I think he was kind of left out.
The characters,
the intelligence of I feel like they spent too much time in the build up to the adventure, to the action, but at that same time, they didn't really do anything in that build up. So I think they could have, I don't know, you know, we're now armchair quarterbacking it. So,
but left out. Yeah. They missed a montage. We needed a montage of the Ghostbusters busting. We needed that, even if it was
there.
You know, I love the intro. Yeah. The intro was great.
So those throwbacks to the movie and then the freaking old toys, the toy commercial, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I had those. Yeah. Yes,
the
cartoon. Like, oh, holy crap! I had that. Yeah, that was cool.
Wasn't it also? Didn't they have the cereal too? Wasn't there part of the cereal commercial?
Oh, they showed a lot.
Great. Yeah,
in that little montage for that part. That was quick.
Yeah.
But we did need another one though. You're right. Like the later time with the music in the background and everything.
A montage,
actually busting
man.
some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
What they've been doing.
For me, missing was a point that they had made in the last one that Ecto-1 was a thing. And then this time they totally disregarded it.
It got possessed for like a minute. Yeah.
Well, no, kind of like, I don't know what it was. Was it?
It was that
remember
like that possessed it?
Was it the mimic? And when they didn't say that, they left that out. Because
it showed it hitting the Ecto-1.
It went in the tailpipe.
Something.
Yeah.
No, beforehand, the old movie. So the kid, Trevor, is that it?
Oh, in Afterlife.
He felt called to it. He gravitated towards it. That's why he wanted to drive it so much, but we didn't get that again. And then at the end, Winston had said, "Oh, what did they do to you? Don't worry, I'll take care of you." As if there was something.
Oh no, I just took that as his calling to be a Ghostbuster, and then Zedmore is just like
I thought there was like something.
And Trevor just wanted to be a teenager and have.
No, I talked to the car too. I call it all sorts of names.
I had forgotten how much of a center stage Trevor took in Afterlife,
right?
Because I'd forgotten about all that, and he was practically just forgotten in this movie.
It was written in the back. He was a background character at most, and like I said, his whole thing was the interaction with Slimer. Again, I liked it as Slimer was just this thing that lived in this house, and people kind of ignored it, but I was aware and didn't really pay attention. Just like the cartoon, kind of. You know, I thought that was cool, but I thought it was going to be like, where's like Trevor and I did appreciate that there wasn't like this ending cameo, except for Bill Murray showing up and being the ending cameo. Like, let's do this. You know, I wanted them to be more part of that whole thing. And I am actually looking forward to a movie without the original cast. Like if they go with the family and the corpse and whatever.
That's right.
And they have this thing where, and then like the Ghostbusters came down and they had this montage and this fun thing doing. And, you know,
I'm down.
Yeah. It's almost, I mean, just because you could just doesn't mean you should. I think I have that attitude with a lot of properties. I agree. Even when Afterlife was coming out, I had that thing like, we really want to open his door. You know,
we had just been burned though. We had just been burned with the other Ghostbusters. You know, it's in Afterlife. Here was Afterlife. We knew it was something else, but we were so skeptical going into it because of what had just happened that I had my walls way up. And I was not.
I'll make a comment on the remake, and you know, guys know how I feel about remakes. I know that we did a Beyond, and I was, you know, whatever. If you took Ghostbusters off that film, it would have been awesome. Like I thought it would have been a good standalone. If Ghostbusters didn't exist, it'd be a great standalone film. But what they did is they really changed the scenery. Yeah, they made it all female centric. That's whatever. If that was a true sequel, and say and Ghostbusters 2 and the guys retired out and this group of scientist women formed and restarted the Ghostbusters, would that have been better than a remake? A complete reimagining of Ghostbusters. I'm sure it still have the backlash, but I don't think as much, you know.
I think
people
so.
Out of it because it was all female cast anyway. But I think if you had,
what was that other cartoon called that was Ghostbusters, but it wasn't? Was that the real Ghostbusters?
The real Ghostbusters was our Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was the Hanna-Barbera terrible thing that wasn't really Ghostbusters.
Okay, then we should have did the opposite then, and that movie should have been called Real Ghostbusters. Just like to change it, like
Man of Steel, Superman, right?
Yeah, there you go. Like, all right, so you want to be I get it. Let me watch this movie. But yeah, I don't talk about that
because
other one.
It's not a bad the remake. It's not. I watched it and it's like okay, it's not like horrible.
It's but Hemsworth is the best thing in it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's hilarious.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
But again, if you want to go that road, right? They made the guy the dumbest thing on the planet, like a rock sitting there.
I wish he would play more dumb characters because he does it good.
He really does.
He's got good comedic timing. Yeah,
he does. I don't think nobody gives him that chance. Like we got a little bit with Fat Thor, but it still wasn't him.
Yeah,
like that dumb, and he plays it so good. It's hilarious.
What was he in? I'll think about it later. I can't. When he went to the family was forget it, skip it. I'm way too high to pull this all out of my ass.
So, you know the Ghostbusters video game. You guys ever played that video game on the?
Yes.
Xbox. What is it?
The sequel. Like it was canon.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that was awesome.
The storyline was amazing. So the storyline on that, it's like you're a Ghostbuster and you join the Ghostbusters. You're the fifth member, right? And you have your locker room and you do your things. But the overall story is that you get this, you get the past of Gozer and the Gozer worshippers and Ivo Shandor, and you get like this thing where you're exploring. They had an island of Ivo Shandor had the Gozer worshippers there. And the island is a whole center antenna thing that they were doing to summon monsters and demons and ghosts and everything too. But you went to like this cult of Gozer and stuff. I thought, again, you go through the movies 1, 2, you play the video game. Then you have in your head, you have this idea of like what a Ghostbusters 3 was going to be. And back in the day, Chris Farley was rumored to be in a part of Ghostbusters 3. And I was like, God, that would be so hilarious, bringing in a younger generation, especially Chris Farley.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think what these great 80s IPs is the timing that they decide to bring it back. It's missing a lot. There's a lot of gap there, and there's a lot of ways of doing it. Like it's a lot of original thoughts lost in the fray, and then start to rebuild it from the ground up. And that's why we get these kind of like weird Phoebes and stuff like that, and so they throw in the old nostalgia.
What's funny is
we would grab it.
I actually like Phoebe. I don't mind her character.
I don't.
It was this
like
story.
any of the characters.
It was this story here, which is see, and I didn't last time, but some fact the mom, I just didn't see it. It was weird, but Phoebe I like. I just didn't like the story. But could you imagine a Farley, Spade, Sandler, and Chris Rock Ghostbusters?
I mean, if you really wanted to pass the torch, like that would
for sure. Awesome, maybe not now,
right? Yeah.
But back
I think, like I said, I think
sure.
the timing on a lot of stuff
not.
is off, right? Like, when they did Indiana Jones, like 1, 2, and 3, right? It was, besides the Raiders. Temple, I mean, they hit it in a timely manner where things can happen. Like this, actors were still of age. We can do these things. Back to the Future, same thing. They try to make a Back to the Future 4, and then it becomes forced. Now the plot becomes forced. Now you're adding these characters that don't have, they don't look like or feel like they're in this world, right? Because they waited too long. Star Wars suffers that too, and maybe that's where, because I always try to pinpoint it, like why can't I just put this and buy it like I used to and have this collection? Why is it not hitting to me like it should, right? Because I don't think it was a true I think it was a sequel made by a complete different human race, That's what it feels like to me. It wasn't the right people doing it. And I like that most of the time it's not the acting choices, it's the writers. I don't know if they really have, like, should they be doing this? I don't know. Yeah. They're not watching it. I don't care. Why am I shy about it? Right. Jason Reitman, you ain't listening to this, so you know what?
No. Only the Disney folks.
Do better. I'm sorry. Your dad's a legend. Right. Jason Wright, you're a legend too. You did some really cool stuff, man. Like,
but look, I'm still not mad at the movie. I mean, I don't think we bashed it even. I mean, maybe you did a little bit.
Yeah, of course. But that's the way I feel. I'm not
right. No. I hope you. I love it. But I'm just saying. I think. Again, I'm gonna leave it with. I was smiling. I'm gonna watch it again. The relationship was weird. There were some weird things in it. I love Paul Rudd. I just think the character was beginning. A little. It was long. The movie was long.
Yeah.
You could have chopped 15 minutes off of that, and I'd have been straight.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Kumail Nanjiani, and I thought he
was perfect. He was really good.
He was fantastic.
Okay, actually, that's a really good point to bring up because that character, if it wasn't him, would have sucked.
Yeah.
He made that character work. I didn't.
I agree.
Like the fire.
There are some saving points. There are some saving points in this movie that made me go like, okay, because again, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'll never watch it. Nope. When it comes out, I will watch it. I will watch it. I want to do marathons with you guys. It's not like I didn't like the movie to the point where I think Ghostbusters is dead and all that stuff. I just think like, okay, out of the 4 so far, this is gonna be my least. Right now, it's my least favorite because now I look at the other 2 as untouchable. I look at Afterlife as a very emotional roller coaster and a very well put together. It's not perfect, but it was a very well put together sequel. You know what I mean? It had actual character advancements from the original cast and introduced a whole new cast, and it worked. So, boop, I'm gonna pop it. But this one, it was like a continuation that was just, okay, whatever. Now I want the next one to kind of write it back up. But that's my final thoughts on it. Like, it's not dead for me. I will watch it, and maybe a second watch will mean a lot more because now I know what to expect. I know what the timing is, and it's gonna be funnier this time around. I'm not looking to like,
maybe you'll realize. Maybe you'll see things that make more
sense. And I always do.
Yeah,
I always do. No matter what. That's why I watch movies multiple times, because I always do get a kick out of a lot of things, and you start to see like that. I get it now. I get it. I see the connection, and it makes more sense. And and especially if you look at things as a whole, right? It's like yeah. So, Police Academy. What are we doing? Okay.
We got to watch it all. I know you can watch it right now in your head.
Yeah,
we're gonna watch. We're gonna pick a movie to watch and then come back and judge it differently. Judge it like we're watching it for the first time today, and kind of theory crime. And
let's watch Police Academy and see if it holds up.
It has been.
I think it does.
Okay, when did Police Academy come out on VHS? That is the last time I saw Police Academy.
I had it taped
once.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I know I've seen all of them.
I've seen all of them.
I can quote all of them multiple times. I think.
Actually, I think
Bobcat
I saw three.
Goldthwait is a brilliant.
I think I saw 3 a few times, but
yeah.
Was that Citizens on Patrol? Yeah, yeah. I've seen that one more than all of them. Yeah. That's funny.
all right, Ernie. What's your final thoughts, man? And then we'll get out of here, and we'll kind of get Chris and Scott. And I said my piece, so
I said mine. I'm good.
Yeah. It was good. I want to watch it again too. It was good. I want to see it again. Does it have points, but so does everything now, and I'll give it a chance. So
that's when you know people have passion about an IP, is when they really kind of like dive into it versus
like we do.
That was cool, and then walk away.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I saw Rise of Skywalker 7 times in the movie theater. It's still can't wrap my head around it.
Christ, dude.
You know how many times I've seen Rise of Skywalker? That's
3 times.
3 times. I just can't. I can't do it anymore.
Probably about 10 times, and I just every time I see it, I dislike it more and more.
Yeah, and that's maybe 3.5, because the last time I got like I got it to a point where like I can't do it. I'm done. I can't do this. The quicksand thing. All right. Well, so we'll have to do that. I think we should do 80s comedy that we feel holds up, but maybe we'll see if it still holds up to today's.
Maybe not as grand as that. I think I think Police Academy still holds up. In my head thinking about it, I'm there's no way it doesn't.
What about another one that's going to be coming out released? Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah,
I would.
We can watch the original, and then that other one's going to be coming out.
Yeah, I just watched the original the other day. I was like laughing my ass.
How the fuck does that happen? I mean, how do you just happen to watch Beverly Hills Cop the other day?
I'll tell you why. Because I'll be like, okay, what's on Netflix, right? And I go, oh, that's a new movie that came out. And they go, oh, there's Beverly Hills Cop. Click. That's exactly. It's just in the wheelhouse, dude. It's just like if a title comes up and I feel like it hits that feel, and then I start thinking about the movie. I go, there's some funny moments in that movie. I'm going to watch it. And I end up hitting it and sitting there for an hour and a half to watch it.
I think that's awesome. I can never just do that. I look at it and I'm all, nah. I skip it.
I've done that. I do that too. But
I put it in my list, and then I just forget to go look at my list. And,
I do too.
A lot of times I'm on the computer. Well, a lot of times I sit on the computer, and every once in a while, okay, I'm done for the night. I'll go to the living room and I'll just put on like HBO or whatever. If I'm eating, it's usually Big Bang Theory. If it's something I just want to relax and just throw out and just waste the rest of the day, I'll throw on whatever. Like I usually have Revenge of the Nerds in my DVD player at all times, so I can go to it at all times. And then I'll get a kick like I want to watch Weird Science. Oh, it's not anywhere. $3.99. Boom. I have it on DVD. I just don't want to dig it out. So yeah. It's I don't know. I like movies. I like watching movies.
Yeah. Was it
like going to the movies? I just don't go enough anymore. After COVID, it's just a weird feeling. I just can't bring myself to sit in the theater 30 times a year anymore like I used to.
Yeah. Just
I go by myself, and I have no problem going by myself. Like I really don't.
Yeah, I've only done that one time.
I go by myself all the time.
It was The Last Jedi. The next morning, the aftermath.
I done that too. Jedi. I did that with Last Jedi too.
I didn't want anybody with me. I sat up in like the third row by myself, upset.
I did too. I was sitting with a packed house and just going like,
I want to love this movie.
Yeah.
Make me love this movie.
All right.
It didn't.
Well, cool deal. Cool deal. Well, yeah, we'll have to do that. So more Beyond the Pits are coming. So that was cool. And I revisit Ghostbusters. We'll do this again. Ghostbusters is
cool.
It doesn't die.
It's timeless.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Later.
See you.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.